my channel. This is take 3 because I'm telling you, when I'm elected president, we're going to have a rule that everybody has to cut their grass or do their lawn trimming at the same time every day. Because as soon as I started doing one, and then somebody started to cut their lawn. And then I waited till they were finished, and I started again, and then someone else started to cut their lawn. So, anyway, today is Tuesday, so that means it's a Tag Tuesday. And I wanted to thank Tracy over Trials of a Longhaired Girl, because she comes up with these every Tuesday and then she tags different people. And I especially wanted to thank Joan over at Joan's Pointed Plate, because she tagged me this week. Last week I didn't get tagged by anybody. I was a little teeny bit disappointed, but I thought it was my own fault, because for the last 2 or 3 weeks I was complaining that everybody tagged me before Robbie over at Frekifitwolf, before either one of us had a chance to tag each other. And so I noticed that neither one of us were tagged last week, because I just assumed, people probably just assumed that we were already tagged. But we weren't, so we didn't get to do a tag last week. So we're going to do one this week. Thank you, Joan. Thank you for thinking of me. I'm going to tag Robbie over at Frekifitwolf. I'm also going to tag Suzy Buie. I think I'm saying it, Suzy Q. And I'm also going to tag Chelsea over at Mom in her 30s. And of course I got to tag the brat, Ange over at SMAC Vision. I'm going to tag those people. So let's get started, because you know I'm a little long-winded. Maybe that's one of the reasons I wasn't tagged. I hope not. I don't think so. Okay, first question. Oh, this is a random personal either or. Okay, the bird's complaining because I didn't feed them. Although I have hummingbird feeders back here now, but this is a pretty bird. This is a pretty bird that's out singing now. Okay, distracted. No squirrels, so I get distracted by the birds. First question, shower or bath? It's definitely a shower. I could not tell you the last time I took a bath. It had to have been when I lived in my upper flat, when Jim and I were first married, and we lived there from 1972 to 1976. Because when we moved into the house that we were renting from the church, the bathtub was disgusting. It was just absolutely disgusting. And I wouldn't even give my kids a bath in the tub. It was so bad. And as much as I would ask for them to refinish it or to do something with it, because no matter what I did, I couldn't get it cleaned. And it took a woman on the committee to come into the house one time, because every year they did an inspection on the house since I rented it, and they wanted to, for the finances of the church, just to make sure it was in good shape. And every year a man came. And then, because I rented the house in 1976, and then in 1978 a woman came, and she says, oh my gosh, look at this rug, look at this carpet, look at this. And I got all new carpeting throughout the house. I got a whole new refinished bathtub. I had new cupboard doors put in the kitchen. I had a new windows put in. It took a woman. So anyway, I never took a bath, and then I just always got into the habit of taking a shower. Maybe this is why I wasn't tagged. Look how long I took for number 1. Number 2, clean shaven or facial hair. I particularly like both, but I like facial hair as long as it's a nicely trimmed beard. I don't like those long scraggly ones. I don't like when they have a ponytail or they braid their beard. I don't like a bushy beard. I like a nicely trimmed beard or a mustache. But not like a Fu Manchu mustache, and not one of the curly curl mustaches, just an ordinary everyday mustache. I like that. But Jim, when I first met him in high school, obviously he didn't have a mustache, because he's blonde, very fair skinned, and he grew a mustache when he was in the service. I got used to it, and then it kind of grew on me. And then when we got married, he grew a beard, a full beard. But it was always a nicely trimmed beard. And then one day he trimmed the beard and shaved it down to just have a goatee, which I don't mind that either, because that's what Jim has now too. And all night long I kept looking at him and thinking, you look different, you just look different. But I didn't want to say anything to him. And so when we went to bed, he said, well, I'm surprised you didn't say anything. And I go, yeah, did you pluck your eyebrows or something? Because you look different. And he said, I shaved my beard off. I just have a goatee now. And then I looked at him and I go, yeah, you're right. So he grew his beard back after that, because he said, obviously you don't like me without a beard. And then he lost a bet, because we were betting that the Red Wings, I think he bet that the Red Wings would win the Stanley Cup. and everybody, back then they weren't that great, and everybody kept saying you're a fool, and so he said he bet that he would shave his beard off completely and go completely clean shaven, and he lost the bet, and he had to shave his beard off, and he looked strange. He just looked strange. I couldn't wait till it grew back. Sorry about that. Number 3, dog or cat or other. I love both. I love having a dog. We had a dog. We had 2 dogs, and I've already told you the story of Millie, and I've also told you the story of Riley. And we had a cat, Minnie Moo. We had another cat, Donald. But we also had some hamsters, which I absolutely detested. I couldn't stand them. They're just like little rats, little mice. I just didn't like them. But my kids loved them. And then Jim was working out of town, and the hamster cage was like a normal hamster cage. You could see through it it had bars, and then the top was like a metal lid with like little holes for breathing holes, and it had the wheel and the whole bit. And the kids could only take the hamster out when I wasn't around, and they could only do it in their bedroom and trapped in their room, so if it got loose they'd know it was in the room and they could find it. So at night they had to bring it in, we used to put it on the kitchen table. We never ate in the kitchen, so I don't know why we had a kitchen table. We always ate in the dining room. But they had to put the cage on the kitchen table, and one night the hamster got out. And I know the cage was locked because I didn't like the hamsters, and I always made sure the cage was locked. But it was out, and we had to find this silly old hamster. And we looked all through the house, and it was under my bed, of all places. My sister Mary lived with us at the time, and so she found him, brought him back, we put him back in. His name was Pete. So we put him back in the cage. And then the next night, damn it, that damn thing didn't get out again. And it was everywhere. We couldn't find it anywhere. And I had to go to bed, and I kept all night imagining that it was on my pillow right next to me. And it was like in the morning, I said, we're finding this hamster. I said, and I think he's figured out a way to get out of the cage. And they all said, there's no way. We put the lock on it, you know, and we showed that the lock was all firm and everything. And I said, no, there's no way. He's getting out. So the kids went to bed. We turned all the lights off. I sat in the kitchen in the dark, watching the hamster cage, staring at it like a cat ready to pounce. This was the smartest little hamster you've ever seen in your life, because I caught him in the act. What he would do is he would climb up the side of the cage in the bar, and then like he would fall back on the wheel for balance. And when he got to the top, he'd put his little hand in the little cage thing, and then he'd flick with his other hand on the lock until it came loose, and then he'd scoot out and get away. So after that, we put books on top of it so he couldn't do that. Nobody believed me. I made them sit up the next night to watch, because he tried it again the next night. He was a smart one. Okay, I'm taking too long. I'm sorry. Tattoo or piercings? I have pierced ears, but I don't wear earrings anymore. I don't know why. I have 2 holes in this ear and 3 holes in this ear. And I always wore 3 earrings and 2, and I always had people saying, you know, you're missing an earring, and I'd always have to explain, no, I only have 2, and so I stopped doing that. I love tattoos, but I'll never get one. But if I was to get one, I would put me, you too, because when Jim and I were dating, and when we were talking on the phone in the kitchen, which was the public phone as far as I was concerned, everybody could hear your conversation because everybody was in the kitchen. We didn't want to say I love you, so if one of us was alone in the house, and we would whisper I love you, and if the other one was with somebody and didn't want them to hear it, we would say me, you too. So on our headstones, it's going to say me, you too, instead of I love you or whatever. But that's what we're going to do. Regular bed or water bed? I need a regular bed. I have a hard enough time getting into my bed. It's kind of high anyhow. A water bed, I would be slushing all over and I'd fly out. I know that. Savings or shopping? Okay, I'm not really a big shopper, but I'm definitely not a saver. So that's kind of a hard one for me, because I don't like shopping. Maybe I will now that I can find clothes that fit me, but back when I couldn't find clothes that fit me, it was too hard. It's just too hard for me to figure out, and I just didn't want to do it. And I just don't save. We have our Social Security checks that we have. We have Jim's pension, which is really good. And then he had, when he was going to work, they had what was called a supplemental pension, and which was, they took so much out and put that in there as a savings account, and you couldn't touch it till you retired. And then what we did was, when we retired it, we put it in some kind of a annuity that we draw on it every month. We get a set amount, and as long as we never take any money out other than what we've allotted for each month, even if it goes down to 0, we'll still have that money. So that was something smart that Jim did. Sandy didn't do that. Jim did that. Night owl or early riser? I am a night owl, but now that the summer's coming, I'm going to have to start going to bed a little bit earlier because I like to walk in the morning and it's very hot right around 11. Too hot for me to walk at that point. And I usually don't get up till like 9, 9:30 because I go to bed around 2, 2:30. But I'm a morning person, so even if I went to bed at 2 or 2:30 and got up at 7, I'm in a pretty good mood because I am a morning person. So 3 meals a day or 5 small meals? 2. I have 2 meals a day. I eat my breakfast, lunch, whatever you want to call it, at about between 1 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I eat my dinner anywhere between 6:30 and 7:30 at night. I have 2 really big meals. I have a big breakfast and I have a big dinner. But my breakfast, I usually eat over the course of a couple hours because it's a lot of food and I don't eat it all at once. It's mostly fruit laden, but lately I've been trying to eat more vegetables. Silver or gold? I like gold, but Jim bought me a silver wedding ring. But I have gold chains. I do have silver chains, but I'm not a big jewelry person. I don't even wear my wedding ring. Jim and I don't wear our wedding rings. We know we're married. We're going to be married 49 years in July. I don't need that to prove to anybody. Pen or pencil? I prefer a pen. I write just about everything on a pen. And the bad thing is if I'm writing something with a pen and I get to the very last thing and I make a mistake, rather than just cross it off and then put what I meant to put in, I start the whole thing all over again because I like it to be neat. It must be my Catholic upbringing at Catholic school that it has to be neat. And I like a felt pen or a ballpoint pen, either one. And I hated when I went to Catholic school. They had cartridge pens, which were like the messiest things ever. The little tubes that you put in the pen, and then the ink would come out, and they were expensive. And I told you my family didn't have that much money, and so we got this pen, and we had to guard it with our life. It was just, I was afraid one time when I lost it, and thank goodness it was in Lost and Found because my mother would have killed me. So anyway, I know, such a long, other people I've watched today, they got it done like in 4 or 5 minutes. I am going on and I can't even see. It's so much. But once again, thank you, Joan, for tagging me. I so appreciate it. And just a reminder, I'm tagging Robbie over at Frekifitwolf, Suzy over at Suzy Buie, Chelsea at Mom in her 30s, and Ange over at SMAC Vision. So if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, leave a comment, hit the like button, share it if you think somebody might like it. And I apologize, I'm very long-winded, I know that. So thanks for watching.